Mr. McHenry for his question.
Thank you, Ms. Warren, for being here. Now, I understand you're a political appointee in the White House.
The gentleman yield just for a second.
And
just so I can be clear that this is in the record. Did I get unanimous
You got
consent?
unanimous
Okay.
consent.
All right. I'm sorry.
Right.
I asked
Yield me
unanimous
30
consent
seconds.
for the gentleman to have 30 additional
Thanks.
seconds.
So you're a political appointee in the White House and a political appointee in Treasury. Now, I want to go through a scenario with you just to get context for folks on your position. And so walk with me here. I mean, this is more of a mind exercise. So I want your judgment on the merits of this. It's shortly after the Enron scandal. Okay? So let's rewind. And the Justice Department has a special task force to go after Ken Lay and Enron. Would, in your opinion, would it be an appropriate thing for the White House assistant to the President for energy policy, who's rumored to be a potential nominee to head up FERC, to call up the Attorney General and give advice on how to deal with the Enron matter and on what terms to potentially settle?
Congressman, as best I remember, following the Enron scandal, the Justice Department asked for advice from a number of specialists.
Right. Did they ask Karl Rove?
Outside government. I'm not sure who they asked for advice, but I do know they called my teaching institution.
Right, but that's different. Look, we're talking about a political appointee in the White House. So I'm just trying to see if you understand why the position you're currently in is controversial. Do you have an understanding that your unique position, the fact you're a political appointee, you've not been confirmed by the Senate to head this institution that you are, in all terms, directing. You have no statutory authority to engage in these matters that you are engaging in. Do you understand why it is controversial? It's similar to, you know, Karl Rove had a similar position in the White House of the last president, and if he injected himself on settlement matters like this, there would be a hue and cry. Do you understand that this is a bit controversial for folks?
Congressman.
Yes would be a good answer.
I work for the Secretary of the Treasury, and in my work for the Secretary of the Treasury, I've begun to help put this new consumer agency together. And we've tried to build already a lot of expertise on a lot of different market-facing issues, on credit cards, on mortgages, on installment loans, on payment systems, and on credit reporting. When the Secretary of the Treasury came to me and said, we'd like your advice, I was glad to
Don't you answer directly to the President as well?
When the President asks for my advice,
Yes or no? Do you answer directly to the President, Ms. Warren?
I answer when the President asks for my advice.
Okay, so you, it's in your title. I'm just trying to make sure you have an understanding of the magnitude of the challenge faced on your unique position here. And under what statutory authority are you currently acting?
I am an employee of the Treasury of the United States.
Okay, sounds eminently reasonable.
And the
I want to get into the settlement question, because media reports are saying there's a $20 billion, some are saying $30 billion settlement. It's my understanding that if the U.S. government reaches monetary settlements with banks, the funds would go to the U.S. Treasury. That's how very standard process over the course of our nation's history. Therefore, it wouldn't be legally permissible for the HUD or even CFPB or any other regulator to resolve these matters by having these funds directed to any other place than back to the taxpayers, back to the Treasury. To allocate these settlement funds, would you need to come back to Congress for authorization to spend them?
Congressman, we are not involved, we are not negotiating with anyone at the Consumer Agency. This is a law enforcement matter that is headed by the Department of Justice.
So you're not engaged in these discussions?
In their financial fraud enforcement task force. And so the
So you're not engaged
negotiation-
in these discussions?
The negotiation.
Reclaiming my time. Are you engaged in these discussions
The
on the settlement?
negotiations with private parties are entirely directed by the Department of Justice, by the state attorneys general, by other federal agencies.
So you're not engaged in these discussions?
We do not negotiate with private parties. We have been asked for advice, Congressman, and wherever we can be helpful, we are not only glad to be helpful, we are proud to be helpful.
Thank you. Mr. Hinojosa?